Namaskar and a very good morning to everyone. I would like to very graciously acknowledge the presence of Shri Ajit Bajaj ji, who's the president of the Adventure Tourism Tour Operators Association, all delegates, dignitaries, adventure tourists, sports person, representatives from the state of Arunachal, and all tour operators from all across India and abroad, ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, collaborators of adventure tourism, responsible adventure tourists, and of course the state government of Arunachal Pradesh and all the dignitaries and officers from the state of Arunachal Pradesh, who's hosting this annual convention of the adventure tour operators in their lovely state of Arunachal at Tawang, which has not just very beautiful landscapes and very beautiful sceneries and topography and weather, but I'm also delighted to tell everybody who's present here that we have recently very successfully concluded the 12th edition of the International Tourism Mart at Kaziranga, and it is very heartening to know that the 16th annual convention of the Adventure Tourism Association is happening on the heels of this very successful template that we have grown for the northeastern states. And tourism for the northeastern state is almost like bread and butter. It is the USP of the northeastern state. It is also a very beautiful template for sustainable tourism, and I'm very happy that Mr. Bajaj and his association have decided to take Adventure Tourism Convention, their 16th Adventure Tourism Convention this year, to Tawang. I'm sure this will attract not just attraction in the adventure tourism and sports fraternity, but also global attention to the state of Tawang, to the state of Arunachal Pradesh and Tawang as a city. So thank you very much for having me at the outset. Very delighted to be present here, even though it's virtual, to share the sentiment and to celebrate in the joy of doing this together with the association. The Ministry of Tourism is a believer in adventure sports as an anchor activity for begetting very different kind of adventurous tourists, and I'm sure this convention will also enable more institutionalized ideation on adventure tourism and what the Ministry of Tourism, different states of the country can do with various associations, adventure tourists, and people abroad who would like to come here and experience the wealth of adventure tourist activities that India has to offer, other different states of India have to offer. I have a few things to tell you. I will begin by giving you some data. You will be delighted to know that India, as part of the various schemes that we have, the Swadesh Darshan, the CBDD, and the SASKI scheme, which is special assistance to the states, we have also focused our attention on the adventure tourism circuits, developing new itineraries and also developing new destinations, rather making the destinations which already exist adventure tourism ready, which is putting in the right kind of infrastructure so that there is safety, there is sustainability, and there is scope for being responsible while we do adventure in the various states. Just to give you an idea, that we are spending about 200 crores in developing two new wildlife trails, if I can say that. And since we have just returned from Kaziranga, I would like to highlight that the state of Assam is developing, in collaboration, of course, with the funding that Government of India is doing, a whole wildlife circuit for wildlife adventure tourists, if I can say that, which is all the trekking that you will need to do, which is beginning from Manas, going up to Nameri, and then from Nameri to Kaziranga and to Dubru. We are spending close to about 100 crores in this circuit. And then, of course, we have another circuit in Madhya Pradesh from Panna to Pench, which has several small wildlife sanctuaries in its unit in its fold, and we are spending about another 100 crores here. So 200 crores on the wildlife circuit. And if I also tell you, there is another Himalayan circuit that we are covering, which involves 6 different kinds of destinations which are coming up in the union territories of Jammu Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir, and also one circuit that we are developing in and around Bir and Chamba, which is the Himalayan circuit. Of course, we are in talks with the Arth Ganga and the Namami Ganga people to look at adventure tourism on the Ganga, or as we go along, which is the Ganga Trail, if I can say that. And this is also very relevant because we have, of course, the greatest Ganga festival, which is the Mahakumbh, which is happening at the Sangam, the confluence of the three rivers, rather, at Allahabad this year. Having given you the broad spectrum of the infusion of funds, because money follows attention, and you have definitely got our attention in terms of adventure sports, and that is why this 800 crore plus is something that is this following the attention that adventure tourism has been able to get for us. Apart from this, I think the focus has to be on mapping. We have scouted the states, we have scouted the activities, we have come up with a whole directory of adventure sports, the guidelines of adventure sports. Now we need to map the states with the unique USP that it has in terms of the various adventure sports. Having done that, we are also working on a whole lot of template which involves the national legislation for adventure sports to make it seamless for people to traverse from one state to the other, doing various kinds of adventures, keeping the protocol part in mind, because adventure tourism involves not just people but also involves whole lot of gear and protocols which make the thrill, the adrenaline rush safe. Once you have the safety aspect and also sustainability aspect, we can consume of adventure tourism in a more responsible manner. So we are working on legislation, we have come up with guidelines. We also have an adventure tourism board which was established in 2022. We have done several small events, including skill building and capacity building. I'm also happy to tell you that we have 3 institutions in the country under the Ministry of Tourism. Of course, other ministries have their other adventure tourism institutions. We have one at Gulmarg, which is specializing in what is called skiing. It trains people for skiing, and Gulmarg, as we know, is the epicenter of skiing in the country, and also is the entry point for experiencing the winter in Kashmir. Apart from that, we also have what is called the National Institute of Water Sports in Goa, which does both water-based adventure sports and also undertakes a whole lot of rescue, because safety and preparedness for disaster management of any kind of disaster, be it adventure sports on land, air, or water, or beneath the water, includes a certain aspect of what if things go wrong. Then what is your preparedness in terms of taking that? And that involves a whole lot of coordination with the different stakeholders. So hyper localization of response time is something that we are working on. And if you look at our Incredible India website, you will see a whole lot of itineraries that are built across adventure tourism vertical. Of course, while the ministry is doing lots to bring the visual of the adventure, making it more visible and making it more viral, there is of course a lot of hand holding that we have to do with people who are actually into the business of adventure tourism. We have to learn from them. I also suggest that in the next board meeting, we also reach out to a whole lot of gear manufacturers, apparel manufacturers, and onboard them in this collaboration as our sponsors, because this is also something which is very, very important. My job as the DG involves a very important aspect of publicity, promotion, and marketing, which will make India as a preferred, as a globally preferred destination for adventure tourism. And we have a bucket list of more than 30 adventure tourism verticals, which we can promote in our 36 states and union territories in the country. What is also most striking about India is the diversity of the terrains, the topographies, and the weathers, which beautifully lends itself to all the kind of adventure. And we have a whole host of institutions. My other suggestion to the association is to look at, when you do the conventions like this, when you have people coming from different countries, from all parts of the globe, then the idea is also to look at institutional collaborations. We have several institutes that do adventure, that do training, including the Indian Mountaineering Institute. We must the Atal Mountaineering Institute that trains you for trekking the various peaks, including the highest peak, which is Mount Everest, which happens to be in India. We must look at striking institutional collaborations with different global associations involved with adventure, and try and bring some of these big events that these associations do hosted in India. I'm given to understand that the Global Rafting Association is doing an event in partnership with the state of Jammu and Kashmir this year. We must have more of them, and we must also look at the institutes that are headquartered in different countries and how we can collaborate with them, how we can collaborate with gear manufacturers, how we can also get influencers in this field who do actual adventure, the adventure tourist, the adventure, sports people, so that they can also become the face of adventure tourism in our country and in the globe. So these kind of striking important partnerships is very, very important for us. There are other activities that we are doing. As we finish this convention, we are also hoping to be able to convene a meeting of the National Adventure Tourism Board to look at the various nitty gritty, the nuances of what needs to be done beyond what we have already done in terms of guidelines and protocols. There is huge scope in the country, and I think what we need to do is, if I have a one-point agenda, is to make adventure tourism protocol, the RFPs, the tenders, onboarding all the people who provide these facilities, and also the gamification, and ensuring that participation in adventure sports in any part of the country, and the intra movement from one state within the state and inter movement from one state to the other for people who do adventure sports, associations who do adventure sports, becomes a seamless and an effortless activity, because that is something which will enable so ease of doing adventure sports in India. The quality of services around this whole ecosystem of adventure tourism is something that the ministry will be heavily focused, and we love to work in partnership with the Adventure Tour Operators Association, building new itineraries and giving visibility to those itineraries, also creating travel experiences around those around those activities, so that this can not just highlight India but also become an important destination and an important market, because huge amount of manufacturing can get a stimulus from adventure tourism happening in the country. So we can, while we do adventure in India, we can also simultaneously nudge a little make in India for all the gear that is not happening in the country right now. This can stimulate the GDP and the economy in the country. So look forward to receiving the recommendations before the board meeting, and give you all our best wishes for a very, very successful 16th annual convention of the Adventure Tour Operators at Tawang. Enjoy yourself, partake in the hospitality that the state of Arunachal Pradesh is offering to you, and the wonderful locales and the wonderful trek and adventure opportunities, both land, air, and water, that is being offered to you. And please come back refreshed. And I thank the government of Arunachal Pradesh for hosting this annual convention in their beautiful land and landscape. Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon. All the best. Enjoy yourself. And thank you for having me here. Namaskar.